Hi, I'm Kevin Dunn, the Get Fit Guy, and I'm here to reassure you that in 2023, I'll be cutting through the noise even more than I did in 2022. Facts. Now, if you are a frequent listener of the show, you'll know that I'm big on being unbiased and objective. If you're a new listener, maybe here because of a New Year's resolution, well, welcome to the home of objectivity. For a while now, it's been a bit of a craze to plunge yourself into a frozen river like a total maniac. To wake up in the morning to a cold shower, fill an old chest freezer with ice cubes for an alternative afternoon session with your friends. There have been myriad posts about it, so I'm going to make a bit of an alternative post about the ugly duckling of water and environmental temperatures. Heat. Now, as crazy as it may sound, there are actually health benefits to hot water and hot environments, and in fact, may even beat those of cold water into submission. So let's dive in. Now, the first time I heard about the benefits of heat was when I was living in Hong Kong. About 2013 at this time, a cryotherapy place had just opened, and everyone was desperate to spend $90 to stand in minus 250 Fahrenheit for 3 minutes for recovery and detoxification. Sounds very compelling. Now, I happened to hear at that time a TCM, which is Chinese traditional medicine practitioner, telling someone that ice is for the dead. By this, he meant that the health benefits for living organisms were to be found in heat rather than extremes of cold. Now, both camps can't really be correct, right? Because hot and cold are mutually exclusive. So I decided to do my own research and see what I thought was best for me and what was best for my own clients. Looking into heat, I found that there was great benefits, first of all, to sleep protocols. Now, in episode 606, I briefly mentioned my BLGs, or basic lifestyle guidelines, one of which is sleep. You can't really expect to sleep badly and then be able to recover from your training or even from the daily stresses of life, both physiological and psychological. Now, hot showers and baths are great for improving sleep quality. One of the main reasons for this is that in studies, a drop in body temperature initiated better sleep. Increasing your body temperature with a hot shower or bath before bed means your body now has to work to cool itself down, so you're hacking this process by expediting and amplifying it. In fact, some bed manufacturers are now working with technology that increases temperature upon first getting into bed and decreases it as the evening moves forwards, helping sleep quality and helping you to build a circadian rhythm. Hot showers also activate our parasympathetic nervous system and allow you to get out of the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight state that stress such as training gives us. Recovery. Now, during a hard training session, muscle fibers and cells are damaged and metabolites accumulate. These will be removed from the muscles over time anyway, but because hot showers dilate the blood vessels and open them up real wide, they're able to be removed from the muscles in a more timely fashion. Similarly, increased blood flow will bring nutrients to the area and aid in expedited recovery. This could be called localized inflammation, but remember that an inflammatory response is how your body heals itself. It happens mostly after an injury as a repair mechanism. We definitely shouldn't demonize inflammation because it's necessary. Mental health. In 1995, it was first reported that fevers help to alleviate symptoms in depressive patients. Since then, studies have been conducted into whole body hyperthermia, and the results were that in a hyperthermic state, such as that induced via hot yoga, showed relief of depressive symptoms lasting up to 6 weeks. And even further back in 1982, studies showed a positive correlation between an inability to regulate body temperature during heat with increased incidence of depression. The outcome of these studies and other subsequent studies demonstrated that by mimicking fever by increasing core body temperature in a sauna, there was a positive effect on depressive outcomes and symptoms. Immune function. There have been several studies into the benefits of Finnish dry sauna and immune function. Data showing that in both trained and untrained populations, white blood cell counts increased after a sauna and subsequently cooling the body down, although the increase in white blood cell count was much greater in trained athletes than in non-athletes. The mild hyperthermia induced by the sauna also has a protective effect upon lung tissue and can be useful for those suffering from respiratory conditions due to the dilation effects on the respiratory system as a whole. So as you can see, although cold water is all the rage at the moment, there are also lots of benefits to hot water and heat as a therapeutic intervention. As discussed in previous episodes, it's always admirable to try and be a higher order thinker by ensuring that we aren't just memorizing information from our favorite influencer or YouTube channel, and that we aren't just being subjective, but we're being objective and looking at benefits of opposing scenarios. Cold water and its benefits have already been done to death. And frankly, I'd rather run a nice hot bath and play with my rubber ducks than I would go for a swim in a frozen lake any day. Now, before I sign off for the week, I thought it'd be fun to answer another email from one of my valued listeners. Remember that you can email me your questions at getfitguy@quickanddirtytips.com. So this week, I get an email coming in from Kelsey, who says, "Hi, I'm a 64-year-old woman who loves cardio. It was the way to get fit and be healthy when I was in college and grad school. In fact, I have a master's in exercise physiology, and it was aerobic exercise all the way. I didn't really start hearing about strength training for the average Joe till about 10 to 15 years later. Now students in my nearby university studying exercise science focus mainly on the need for strength training with minimal study of cardio. Interesting how things change, huh? My question concerns protein powder. I'm trying to incorporate strength training in my weekly regimen, but I don't get enough protein. I would buy some protein powder, but the options are exhausting. Do you have a podcast or blog or even a recommendation that covers protein powder and how to choose one that's best for you? I really enjoy your podcast. Thank you for digging through research as well as the junk to bring us real information. Kelsey." Hi, Kelsey. Well, thank you firstly for listening. I'm happy to hear you enjoy the podcast and to answer your question. I think it's very admirable that you're getting into strength training. And of course, creating a muscle protein synthesis event is critical, specifically that overload being in leucine. We need to do this at a regular interval throughout the day. And your preferred protein powder essentially comes down to taste. What I mean by that is there are hundreds of protein powder manufacturers, but only a handful of whey manufacturers. So most of the companies are all buying their whey from exactly the same sources and only adding their own flavors and sweeteners. The most expensive ones just have fewer fillers than the cheaper options. So to make sure you get the best quality, I would avoid any ones that blend proteins and go for 100% whey isolate. There are a number of brands doing that. Like anything else in this life, the more expensive options are generally the highest quality. Also, you'll find that the chocolate ones have slightly higher protein per grams per prepared drink than any other flavor. This is just due to a small amount of protein coming from the chocolate itself. So thank you again for your question, and see you all back here next week. Get Fit Guy is a Quick and Dirty Tips podcast thanks to the team at Quick and Dirty Tips, Adam Cecil, Morgan Christensen, Holly Hutchings, and Davina Tomlin, and our intern is Cameron Lacey. I'm your host, Kevin Dunn. If you have a question for me, leave me a voicemail at 510-353-3104 or send me an email at getfitguy@quickanddirtytips.com. For more information about the show, visit quickanddirtytips.com or check out the show notes in your podcast app.